Alan, as far as your off season and coming to minicamp, does this mean you plan to report on training to training camp on time and just kind of proceed as normal?
Yeah, I'll be at training camp on time.
But was it a difficult decision for you to come to this, or were you? I mean, we know we didn't see you at OTAs. I just wonder what was going through your mind as you made your decisions.
It wasn't difficult. At the end of the day, I mean, those things are optional things. At the same time, like I said, I think I have a pretty good routine and things like that I've been working through. Being able to progress in certain areas at the pace that I want. Being able to specifically, dedicate my off season to improving certain parts of my game.
Jeff Dickerson.
Hey, Rob, are you optimistic that offensively this year things are going to be a lot better? You got two new quarterbacks you're working with this week for the first time. Do you kind of feel like with Andy coming in and then drafting Justin and some other changes that are made that things are looking up for you guys this season?
Yeah, again, I think that again with those guys, being our second year, being able to kind of improve upon some of the things that Coach Laser brought to the table last year, along with Coach Nagy, being able to just kind of reflect on the things that we did well last year, being able to improve on those and polish those up, and then continuing to hone in and improve on some of the things that we may not have done so well last year. So I definitely think going into, this year, having, even though we have a new set of faces at the quarterback position, having some of the same philosophy always helps.
Dan?
Alan, where were you the night that Justin was drafted, and what was your immediate reaction when that move was made?
Yeah, actually, I didn't even because I wasn't watching the draft at the time, so I was kind of late to the news. But once it happened, I was definitely excited, for the team and for Justin. I had reached out to him short after he was drafted. And I've been in communication with him since, so I mean, it's always good to be able to, see young guys, achieve their dreams and also be able to come into situations, trying to help support those guys, just as a young player. You always want to see young guys coming into this league be successful.
In the last 7 or 8 weeks, how have you familiarized yourself with his game, and how have you familiarized yourself with him as an individual?
Yeah, just talking, even, I mean, the many conversations, not being football related, just, asking him as far as, places that he's looking to live, how normal, commuting goes from getting from point A to point B, some places that I've lived, things that, I've been able to do, stuff for my family, stuff like that. At the end of the day, I know that Justin is a football player and everybody likes to focus constantly on football, but at the same time, with him being drafted into the NFL, obviously he has a life as well, so I think being able to help a lot of young guys kind of help them in any way at that standpoint, always goes a long way. Because I mean, he's a great talent. He's a hard worker. I don't think that anything football related or anything like that would be an issue. So just trying to be able to help him around, the areas and stuff like that to kind of familiarize him with some of the stuff like that.
Matt Finley?
Alan, we've obviously asked you about your contract for a year now. Has anything happened in the last month or two that's led you to think there's any momentum toward getting a deal done? And do you think anything could happen in the next month?
Well, again, I mean, I don't have any updates or nothing like that. At the end of the day, that's out of my control. It's not what I can control. So right now I'm just focusing on, again, the things that I can control, coming back, being the best player that I could be, trying to help this offense continue to improve. And that's the main focus for me right now. It's just controlling what I can, helping myself to be better, will help this team be better. And obviously will help us from just an organization standpoint be better this year than we have been in the past couple of years.
Go back to Brad Biggs.
Alan, what would your comfort level be playing out the final year of your contract? How would that sit with you?
I mean, again, that's not in my control if I don't, so at the end of the day, obviously controlling what I can. I mean, with that being a possibility, then I mean that is what it is. I'm comfortable with that. I mean, obviously that's a possibility. So I mean, that's fine. It is what it is. You know, like I said before, my main focus right now is just continuing to be better, continue to get better.
Colleen Kane.
Alan, I wanted to ask you about the individual training you've been doing over the last couple of months. Where and what have you been doing, and what are you trying to work to get better at?
Yeah, so I mean, for me, it's you know, some of the points of improvement that I've been focusing on is just being better, you know, after the catch with the ball, you know, being able to have creating more muscle endurance, you know, so when I'm catching the ball, you know, being able to hold my speed longer and things like that, you know, and just making sure I'm getting in and out of my breaks, you know, focusing on some deeper routes, you know, the transitions, you know, that those specific aspects of my game, being able to add, you know, a few more yards to my per catch average, you know, we'll be able to turn some, you know, 8-yard catches into 12-yard catches, create more first downs, you know, and also focusing on myself on the red zone, being able to make sure I'm honing in on not only just a physical standpoint, but just honing in on what teams are trying to do to us in the red zone and how I can be better and how I can, you know, help assist my team more in the red zone when we do get down there.
Alex.
Hey, Alan, this is your first look at guys like Marquise Goodwin and Damier Byrd. From your perspective, what are they bringing to the wide receiver room this year?
You know, again, I mean, those are fast guys, you know, who bring a lot of juice to the room when it just comes into, you know, sheer playmaking ability. You know, I know that you've seen those guys on other teams make big plays, stretch the field, you know, and at the same time, man, those guys are competitors. You know, they come out to work each and every day, you know, and that's what you want to bring to your room. You know, again, not only do they have their personal skill set, you know, but at the same time, they have very good mentalities coming into our room, which I think will help us all year.
Chris Emma.
Alan, you stacked 2 consecutive seasons averaging 100 receptions. So what do you feel like you can do even better this season? And what do you feel like you can do prove even more?
Yeah, you know, from obviously watching the tape, you know, whether if I had, you know, however many yards and catches I had, you know, obviously there are some plays and some things that you want to get back, you know, so being able to figure out, you know, in certain instances where I feel like I should have made a play or plays that I, you know, want to make more, you know, the reasoning behind why those plays weren't made, and also even some of the plays and catches that I did have, how can I expound on those to make those more impactful plays? How can I do that to create more X plays and more 20+ yard plays, 15+ yard plays, and start to turn more 8-yard catches into 12 to 15?
Mark Brody.
Hi, Alan. I'm just curious. Obviously, we know that you're not thrilled to be handed the franchise tag. What went into your decision to indeed show up on time to this mini camp? And as you said, you plan to show up on time and be, you know, full go for training camp as well. Why did you decide to show up?
You know, like I said, man, whatever comes from the contract standpoint, again, will come from that, you know, that's not totally in my control either way, you know, so being able to control what I can, not setting myself back in any kind of way, not forfeiting any money in any kind of way. Those are all things that go into the factor of, you know, what I want to do and the things that I want to accomplish, you know, not only team-wise, but personally, you know, so again, I mean, it's just kind of, it's something that just makes sense.
We got time for a few more quick. Dan.
Alan, did you say you were working on muscle endurance for speed? Is that what you said?
Yeah, so muscle endurance would obviously translate to speed endurance and things like that. You know, as I've been able to put on some muscle, get a little bit stronger, kind of focus in on you know, the top end speed aspect and being able to create that muscle and speed endurance, you know, even upper body wise as well, you know, making sure that, you know, shoulders and things like that are strong. So once we get late into the season, late into games, you know, still being able to be strong and make those plays.
Who's been most influential in working on all that stuff with you?
You know, so I work out at 2 places. I work out in New York some at a place called Soho Strength Lab, and I also work out with Pete Bomarito. So, and also I work out with a few other guys, you know, as I try to get with some vets, some prior vets and things like that, you know. So from the time the off season starts till about training camp, you know, I'm a few places trying to touch on a few things and get some work in with a few guys.
Pat Finley.
Alan, what do you think of the NFL adding a 17th game this year?
I mean, it's added. I mean, I don't think it's something that anybody is too thrilled over, but I mean, again, that's one of those things. It is what it is. You know, I mean, you can't reverse it, you can't take it back. So, I mean, you just got to figure out how to, you know, instead of being ready and available for 16 games, now have to go into making sure that the body is ready and available for 17. But again, I mean, it's not too much of an opinion on that, because no matter what the opinion is going to be, it's not going to change the outcome of it. So, I mean, it's 17 games, and now I just got to plan and adjust accordingly.
Do we have time for one more, Brad?
Alan, you've said a couple times that the contract situation is out of your control. Is that implying that the ball is sort of in the team's court on this situation?
No, that's not implying anything. It's just nothing that I personally can't control. Whether something gets done or not, it's just something that's not fully in my control. So obviously, I mean, things happen, things changes, but like I said before, it's not something that I can concern myself with too much.
Thank you.
Just trying to focus on the things that I can, which is being a better player, being a better teammate, and helping us go out here and win more games.